Recording in progress.
Okay. Hi everyone. Today we start to have our first pig experiment. So please go over Moodle and download the crop production CSV and lab 06, the first pig experiment.pbtx. So what is pig? So you might remember we had some initial experiment running MapReduce and making some reports. It was about movie ID, user ID, and you had the assignment. And we have seen that was quite a bit challenging. So in such a cases, instead of using everything from scratch, and what I mean scratch, just writing your MapReduce functions, we want to use some technologies that some people developed through the projects, and those projects basically are some technologies that you're more familiar with it. It's much more convenient for you to work with. And they are, for example, in last week, you have seen that we went through PySpark, and basically PySpark is Python, but through a Hadoop ecosystem. So if you want to do some, let's say, predictive analytics project in Hadoop ecosystem, you don't have to do everything from scratch. You can use PySpark, which is very similar to Python. There is some differences that we discover later. Similarly, for data management tasks, we use Pig. Pig is very similar to SQL. So if you already know SQL, you can adopt Pig quickly. So it's basically Pig is basically a data management tool developed over Hadoop ecosystem. So what we do today? So today we use your local system, your laptop, to install an instance of Hadoop ecosystem over there, and basically you send some files over Hadoop server, and we do some query task using Pig. So instead of touching Hadoop directly, we use Pig and write some SQL-like commands, and basically make some queries, report the queries, and download the files. And we said that, again, this ecosystem is for very large data set and very powerful servers. We use our own PC, and you might see that it's much even slower than SQL. Because for small data set, and when your PCs have limited computing power, it's not efficient to run on your own PC and running Hadoop, but this is for learning purposes. So the big picture is here. So at the bottom, you have Hadoop distributed file system. Here we just have one system, but when you do pair processing, you could have like hundreds of nodes. Yarn manage Hadoop file system, and basically Pig is just mounted on top of it. And within Pig, we have some script, which we call it Pig Latin SQL, and Pig just turn them to some MapReduce commands, which you don't even need to look at, and basically then run those commands over clusters that have that already have the Hadoop ecosystem. This is the big picture. But similar to before, you need to have an instance on your PC. So please go to this link and download this zip file. It might take a few minutes. And just compress your zip file into C/P. Again, if you go to this link, just download the file, which is 220 megabytes, and then unzip it or decompress it to C/P. So under your C/P, you should see these folders and files. I gave you a few minutes to do that, then we'll start from there. Just keep in mind for today's experiment, you need to already have Hadoop and Hadoop on your system. So if you don't have, I record the today's class, just go home, run Hadoop ecosystem, then you can use Pig on top of it. It's downloading the files. You finished downloading. You finished? Okay. So similar to Spark and Hadoop, since we don't have an installer file, so you need to introduce the addresses to your local environment. So the first address is just go to your local environment and make Pig home. So let me show you. So you might in the search bar, search for environment variable. Look, you should have, what is that? You should have Pig underline home equal C /Pig. So you click on the new and just type these two. So it just tells my Hadoop or Windows where is the address of Pig on my system. So after making this address, you also need to go to path variable, press edit, and just add this address, c/p/bin. This is another address that your system needs to know. So after introducing these two addresses, press OK, OK, and then OK. We also need the last address. So you might remember one time I tell you edit the files, another time I give you the edited files, but let's here again edit our files together. So go to C /p/bin/peak.cmd. So C peak /bin. So for me, it's peak.cmd. For you, you may not see extensions, but it should be this file. So there's a rectangle with some gear in it. Okay, so this file, just right click. Then you can either edit it or open with Notepad. So here, I just press edit. Almost in the first page, there is a second set file. So first, for you guys, it should be something like this, home Hadoop /bin. Just change it to libexe. So if it's hard for you to find it, within that cmd file, just press Ctrl F and search for Hadoop home. Oh, you can't find it. Let me press done. Maybe I should capitalize Hadoop. Yeah, it's the Ctrl F capital Hadoop home, and you can find where should you change the address. So now we have 3 changes in the addresses. So Hadoop and Peak now can find each other. After doing that, just file and save it. And then you can delete this, or sorry, close this file. Okay, now first we need to start our DFS and Yarn. Then on top of these two, we start our Peak ecosystem or Peak files. So in the search bar, go to command prompt, right click, run as administrator. So first is the start DFS. It just initiate my Hadoop distributed file system. So just type start.dfs. You can also copy paste from PowerPoint. Sometimes might be font issue gives you some error, but usually shouldn't be bad. So now I initiated my Hadoop distributed file system. On top of that, now I should initiate Yarn. So start -yarn. Both of them are running. So if you want to check the status of your file system and also Yarn, you can just copy this link to your browser and press and just paste and enter. So this is the status of my Hadoop file system. Just saying that how much space is allocated, how many nodes. So look at the live nodes, for example. It just said I have I have one node, because for local installation, we just installed over one computer. So live node is just one. Also, you can check the status of your yarn. So you can just copy this link. Yes. Right click edit, or first open your notepad, then browse to the file. But I think right click edit should work for you. And this is the status of my yarn. So just saying that I have just one active node, which is correct. And right now I'm not running any applications. Just simply run my yarn. Just my yarn is simply activated over one live node. Okay, so there is two versions of Peak. One is just running over a local system without any MapReducing. But we want to feel how MapReduce works and how much does it take. So for a better understanding, let's just select the second line. First one is fine too, but let's just do second one. Second one runs actual MapReduce of Hadoop. The first one is just simulation. So here I'm just copy peak-x MapReduce. So if you see grunt or grunt, it just means you are inside Peak. So now I want to upload one file from my local system into Hadoop, then run some queries from Peak over Hadoop ecosystem. So first of all, you might remember we had some experiment on Hadoop commands, like how to create a folder, how to upload a file. So just, for example, I put some commands here. For example, HDFS DFS, mkdir means make a directory of Hadoop files. I make another directory of class. Then I get a list of my folders, and also I can get a list of all files within class folder. So let's just do one by one. For example, first line. And you should be reading commands from, not Peak. So I open a new command prompt, run as administrator. So let me copy. Second line, I make a second folder. And with the third one, I can get a list of all of the files that I have. Hadoop DFS -ls. So you may not have TMP. TMP means just a temporary folder, because I already had some experiment and I deleted files. Yes. Okay, let's see. Are you running Hadoop? No, you're not running. So the command prompt, just press dot dash. No. Okay, now I just want to upload a file from my local system into Hadoop ecosystem. So the file is in this address. It was a Kaggle competition. I think it was about some crops in India. So copy this link, HTTPS Kaggle, everything to the end. On your browser, paste and go to that address. You may need to log in or create an account. If you don't have any account or you didn't log in, please do that. And then download the CSV file. And the competition is about predicting crop production in India. You can just read about that. So then, if you open this file, this is the file name is cropproduction.csv. Just decompress this file into a new folder on your system. And please put the name Big Data underline class. So under Big Data underline class, I have crop underline production.csv. So please download the file, decompress it to this folder. And the reason I'm saying everyone does this folder because later on, I want to show some commands. All of those commands based on this address. Again, you don't have to have these exact folder names, whatever, but if you change the folder name or file name, later you should change the command too. I put the address on your slide, so Kaggle and up to this crop production. If you just copy, you see to this page. If you need to log in, and then just press download and download the file. So if you're able to download the file, you can use this Hadoop command. Just upload file from your local. The address is c/big class crop production CSV. And we upload it to a new address, which is class folder. So we already created a class folder. Now we want to upload that file into that folder. So you can just Control-C here, come into your browser, command prompt, right click. So when you right click, paste and press enter. Now we want to check if it worked. So with ls, I can take care of the list of files in my class folder. So HTTP ls means list of files within class folder. So look, now it says within that folder, I have a file crop underline production.sys. Okay, so now we have our file ready on Hadoop ecosystem. The next step, just loading the file from Hadoop into Pig. So this is the command. So as you see, I'm introducing new variable data set. I'm saying load from class corporation crop production CC. This is an address of file over my Hadoop. And basically, I'm saying that it has some columns, and I'm saying that for example, state name is a character, district name character, crop year integer, so on and so forth. So basically, I have a load function, and within that, I'm just saying that these are the columns that you need to consider. So Control C. I think I skipped, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, here I get the comment like this. So you can forget not the address of SP. So C had to be C should be the one. So I just do this like that. I'm what you comment now. So show me the menu. Two. What is comment one? Run as a not at the start of the start dash no start dash no dash no dash. Right. Not the street for yacht. So dash yacht. Okay. So now go to the comment and do the remaining where to be back there. This cannot be with it. I just with it. Yeah. It's empty, nothing. It's not. No. You can yeah, I know. Could only be like it's not do that. There's something wrong with your head of installation.
Huh? So if it's data node, go to the data slide and format your data node again. So go to data folder, delete everything, and then in that Hadoop installation slide, one location I said how to format your data folder. Okay, so at this point, I'm introducing a dataset variable. And this time, look, I said in front of grunt, it just means you should run it into within your peak environment. So if you say grunt, just paste the command here and press enter. So if you define that dataset, with dump function, you just execute this command. So dump dataset, comma, semicolon. It takes a lot of time to basically load that file from your Hadoop into Pig with the name of that. It might take a little bit of time. So
Oh, okay. So that I find out what's wrong. I I use it. I commented yes, and I can't find my data node. It's not there. It's not there. I don't know where I get those. So Professor, you can see around the HTTP and just all I got the main row, the resource manager, node manager, HTTP.
you don't have data.
Yes, yes, I don't have data.
Run this command again.
Now this one again.
If you shape this one. Yes.
Okay.
Now this one take it. Oh. It doesn't have enough data.
There's something but what is it? Here's the cannot remove the so what?
So if I run the your show, I install everything.
It's still so I don't know.
Yeah. So you only did Java, you don't have to install it. That's all right. So click on slide. So start from here. You already, I think you already downloaded it. Download this one. I think you already did that, right? Yeah. So now delete your Hadoop folder and just extract that file.
Oh, delete my Hadoop folder.
Yeah, go to see. Go to Hadoop, see Hadoop. Just delete it. Everything. Yeah. Then just keep installing. Let's say after finishing this one, everything's okay. Go and see. Make a copy of this folder and put that folder somewhere else. So next time if your Hadoop and Yarn has problem, you can just check this. So when you next time. So if it works with Hadoop and Spoken, sorry, Hadoop and Yarn and they are working, and maybe later on, for some reason they might get broken. So what I recommend, after you have Hadoop and Spark running, just come select these two folder, and maybe you can just zip them. Or here is RAR, maybe you can just let me just show you. So now I make a zip folder of these two files. So next time, if my Hadoop and Yarn is broken, I don't have to install everything from scratch. I just delete the current one, which is broken, and put the previous one, which is okay, in the previous location. Yeah, you too. I think you should come to my office. It's very hard to find your problem. But as you see, my pig command is running, so I can use this time to look at your current problem. So if this time works, it works. How about that? Next time, again, it's not problem. Or maybe kind of problem for pig, everything smaller than. Next time, it's the error. Just it's the problem of the system. Yeah, it might happen, especially sometimes if you just close command prompt without proper closing. After a while, you might get some errors and it might get broken. There is some technical ways to fix the errors, but it's a little out of the context for this class. So if you're right now, if you're Hadoop, Yarn, Pig, Spark, and the data folder are working, just make a copy of them somewhere. And whenever you get issues, you cannot run Hadoop and Spark, just copy them and paste them back. And basically, you can have a backup folder somewhere. So right now, one of your friends had issues with this Hadoop, and he had to install everything from scratch. But if you have a backup copy somewhere else, you can just copy back. So if you want to make a backup copy, just make a backup copy from all the folders. So one folder was, again, Hadoop, and the folder was the Spark, Pig, and we had the data folder. Oh, right now, it just finished the execution. So now with describe, which is, again, a SQL-like command, I can describe my files that I just, the file that I just imported. describe data set, semicolon, and this is just the structure of the file that I import. Again, might look stupid for you because it takes a lot of time, but again, these are for learning purposes over just one sample, one cluster. The next experiment, I want to make a query, so group query by the state name. So, and after that, I want to save the query into a Hadoop folder. So if you look at here, I think the first one should be easy for you. State is equal group dataset by a state column, a state name column. After execution, I save it into a first query folder within my Hadoop ecosystem. So just let me just copy paste quickly, then I check your friends' computers because I assume it might take a lot of time. First, I define the query. Again, with pump, it just executes my query. My takes again a lot of time. So let me just check. But this can have a backup. So for people who has Mac or Linux, so you need to do exactly the same steps, but there is like, so you go to terminal and some of the steps is a little different. So unfortunately, we don't support Mac, but I think if you Google it, you can easily find how to install Hadoop and Spark on your local system. And tomorrow afternoon, I'm here, so most likely, I think after 2:30, you can find me somewhere. So if, in case you need help, just please stop by my office and I can check your PCs.
So so make that production there.
We could have, a job.
No, different. That should probably and should focus the topic from this problem. First of all, the next class will is now let's check inside the classroom. So how do we test for that? So this column, like you can see this of in classroom. So, so make just for now, let's take the back of so what we are seeing. This is back of from Jackson, from Heavy, and this is Scorpion. Just happen somewhere. You get all these shit and then but maybe not all of them.
Yeah, finally done. So with describe, I can take a look at my basically query. It shows the folders and whatever is inside it. Then with the store command, I'm basically, it just means save this query into first query over Hadoop file system. So I copy within pig, I just paste. Huh? Now you define the command should load from this Hadoop folder into your system, and this would be the columns of your data. You don't execute that. Here you just define. Now you don't execute just that. Just focus on the opposite. So that's just means to load on. Describe actually the result of that data check. So, all of them are doing process because the command prompt will repeat that. Hmm? Yeah. Yeah, you almost questions. So let me look at my first query. Maybe the result is there, but it's still running. So so I just run HDFS DFS first query, and as you see, my Hadoop made this query. So part-r-000 is the result of just the query that I just did. So with the next command, HDFS DFS copy to local, I'm just copying the result of my query from Hadoop into C/big data class/query.csv. My query is still running, but let's see if I can download the current reported query. Okay, so with this one, I'm just downloading the query from Hadoop into an address on my local system. let me check my local system, C big data class. And this is the query that I just made through Pig over Hadoop ecosystem. You can just click. Yeah, this is like, for me, it looks like a JSON format, but this is just a query of grouping the data based on the state that they are coming from. Okay, that's for today. Again, maybe at home, if you want to run it faster, instead of Pig MapReduce, maybe we can just run Pig local. So with Pig local, you run exactly same commands, but since it doesn't run a MapReduce methodology, so it should be much faster. And then maybe we can download, look at your reports. So, okay, that's it. So again, you need to understand that how Pig works. This is a SQL-like tool which is built over Hadoop. So instead of doing MapReduce by yourself, and maybe here you see that I just made a query, grouping by state name. So it's as you might remember, for movie data set, we did, it was kind of challenging writing Python code to run the MapReduce directly. So here, with just one line of the code, I did something similar. So just grouping by state. So, and I don't need to learn a new software. There's a lot of similarity with SQL. Maybe you just need to know a little bit of more than that, but the rest is exactly the same. Very similar to SQL. So from next classes, I might start working with Databricks. So in Databricks, you learn how to run your project over Databricks cloud services. So having said that, cloud services, when you look at Python, you don't need to take care of hardware like here. Also, I'm pretty sure we have time that I go over AWS and I teach you how to use another cloud service, which is AWS, for running your commands. Again, AWS, you use the free service. They might charge you, but usually, if you say I'm using for my class assignment, they usually forgive you, so you don't have to pay. At least by now, so far. And AWS also is a really good skill that you can even include in your resume, that you know how to work with AWS. So, but I think next week might be, I may change my decision, but I think next week is better to you start working with Databricks. So you have a very much better idea how to do your project. But again, if you already started your project, you can do through PySpark that you learned last week. So you install PySpark on your system. You made some Jupyter notebook. You know how to load your data from local system into Hadoop. Then you need to provide those addresses to PySpark and just run your codes. But again, next class you see that Databricks is much easier and there's less hassle. Any questions? Okay, for people over Zoom, let me just tell you. So you might install Hadoop, Spark, Pig, and after a while, more specifically, if you look at here, so instead of running this command, so here, for example, I should type stop fs, or for Pig, within Pig, let me just, where was my Pig? So here, the best way is just typing quit and press enter, and you quit your Pig environment. But sometimes, after a while, you might get some errors. More specifically, if I'm just right-click and close all windows here, I can close it faster, but most likely after a while, I get several errors. So, but anyway, what I recommend to just for saving your time, make a copy from your data folder, your Hadoop, your Peak, and Spark. So you make a backup copy somewhere else. Anytime if you face issue, just replace everything, and you don't have to go through like slides and install Hadoop, Spark, and just spend quite a bit of time to do it everything. Anyway, since again tomorrow after 2:30, maybe you can find me on campus, but you also can reach me through Zoom. Hopefully, also you can watch the video later. Hopefully, you won't get too much air and headaches. Okay, that's for today. So let's do our attendance.